On this channel, I create reaction videos, educational videos about learning music and the piano, as well as challenges like learning perfect pitch or learning songs by ear, and I often get a lot of questions, so in this video I'm going to answer them. Great video, buddy. What advice would you give to someone wanting to start learning the piano? I have no musical experience but always wanted to learn. Like, are there cheaper ways to learn piano than buying an outright piano? Thanks in advance and enjoy a new subscriber. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the video and thank you for subscribing. Learning the piano doesn't have to be expensive now because you can get digital pianos exactly like this one. This one is a Yamaha P45, and while that might be a little bit of an investment, if you compare it to something like a guitar, it's actually not that dissimilar in price anymore. And you'd actually be surprised, if you get an 88 key weighted key digital piano, that will get you quite far. And the other reason it might be expensive to learn the piano is obviously lessons. And once again, you can actually get quite far with information here on YouTube, or by taking various courses, or just experimenting with playing. And obviously it depends what you want to get out of playing. If you want to do classical music and really like build your technique, or you want to be good at sight reading, or you want to be able to play by ear, it depends what you want to do. But if you have any specific questions about something that you're struggling with, let me know in the comments and I will happily answer it. I wonder, this is just a question, but does anyone know how many years of experience this guy has doing classical music and playing the piano? Because when he sees the person play the piece, he plays it back so smoothly and fluently, and I think that's so cool. Well, thanks. I happen to know how long I've been playing the piano, and that is 20 years. Well, technically that's not true. I started playing the viola when I was 7, the guitar when I was 8, and the keyboard when I was around 7 or 8 as well. And then when I was 11, I started properly playing the piano, and I am now 27. Do you have perfect pitch or relative pitch? Technically, everyone has relative pitch. Perfect pitch is one of those things that you either have or you don't have, but you can do a good job at replicating it, and I actually did a video where I tried to learn perfect pitch, but I just have very good relative pitch, which means if I hear a note, then I can judge the distance between notes quite easily. So an example of this, if I play a C, is an E. And you actually develop good relative pitch by just playing an instrument a lot, because you start hearing the same chords over and over again, or you start playing scales, which have a very clear pattern of sounds that you hear. So once you've been playing for a while and maybe try to work some stuff out by ear, your ears get very good at judging the distance between notes. But if you haven't seen the video where I tried to develop perfect pitch, then go and check it out. How would you go about learning a new piece as fast as possible? Well, that depends on what the piece of music is, what the genre is, and what are the difficult parts in that piece, but a lot of it comes down to systemizing your practice. The biggest problem that I have seen with students who are progressing quite slowly is that they just aren't very efficient with their practice, meaning that they're playing a lot of things that they can already play rather than playing stuff that they're trying to work on. And also, before you start learning any piece of music, you should work out which parts of that music are going to be the most difficult to learn, or if they require a specific technique that you're going to need to practice, like a long trill or like some fast arpeggios or something like that. But if you want to get quicker at pieces, generally speaking, all you really need to do is ask yourself, are you being efficient? And every time you sit down at the piano, are you starting from the beginning of the piece again and playing it through and wasting time, or are you spending times on the more difficult bits that you need to practice? It's a pretty boring answer, but it is what it is. Is it better to have a physical copy of the sheet music or an online copy? I don't think it really matters, but if it's online, you need something big enough to read it on, but other than that, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of personal preference. Any tips on identifying the notes in a section of music? I'm trying to make an arrangement, but I don't think sampling is feasible for what I want to do. So sampling is where you take a section of someone else's music and you use it to create a new piece of music. So in a lot of remixes, you might get a sample of someone else's music and then it be built around that. But it sounds like this person doesn't want to use the other person's piece of music, they just want to recreate it by listening to it. Which leads me to the question, are you trying to work out just a melody, or are you trying to work out the full song? Because if you are trying to work out the full song, then I have 2 videos on working songs out by ear, and definitely go and watch those if you haven't already. But if you are trying to work out like the full piece of music, then what you need to do is listen for the bass notes and then work out the chords from those bass notes, and then work out the melody and try and put them together. However, if you are just wanting to listen for the melody so you can use that as part of whatever you're making, then all you really need to do is work out what scale the piece of music is using. And once you've worked out the scale, then you've only got 7 notes that the melody could possibly be, and it's just a case of listening and then trial and error. But doing things like working out the chords and working out the scale narrows things down, so actually what sounds impressive, i.e. you just being able to recreate something that you've just listened to, for you is just a process that you're going through to get to the result. And you can actually do this without even listening to a piece of music. For example, if I wanted to play Don't Stop Me Now, for example. I can find a scale, let's say D, because I think the original piece of music might be in D. I could be wrong. Then I can find the bass notes, so tonight, da 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 da, something like that. Then you can play the chords that fit those. And then try and find the melody using the scale. And then you can use that however you like to make it sound more interesting. And that is all without even actually listening to the song at all. If you have any questions, then let me know in the comments, and if you like this different style of video, then let me know. And if you want to hear my ears in action working something out, then check out my last video where I react to a song by Ethan Bortnick, and I will see you there.